we now head to Los Angeles, California, where Canadian rapper Tory Lanez is to stand trial for allegedly shooting fellow rapper Megan Thee Stallion. The shooting happened this summer of 2020 after rapper Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez attended a party at Kylie Jenner's home. Lanez has denied the shooting and pleaded not guilty to 3 separate felony charges stemming from the shooting. Law&Crime senior reporter Meghann Cuniff was there in that California courtroom. And Megan, what can you tell us so far?
Yeah, it's a highly anticipated trial that's getting underway here about 45 minutes from now. The attorneys are going to be giving opening statements, and it's about 5 to 7 days long, and it really just looks at, did Tory shoot Megan Thee Stallion? He has denied being the shooter. I talked to his lawyer over the weekend, and he said he didn't want to, give away his case too much, but he said they will be arguing that Tory was not the one who shot Megan here, and the person who's in the car who it all seems to be pointing to through Tory's comments is Megan's former best friend, Kelsey Harris. And it sounds like Tory is saying that there was some romantic interest between him and the 2 women that caused a conflict between the 2 women. So it sounds like that's really going to be center to Tory's defense here.
Megan, this is another high-profile Hollywood trial here. Are both parties in court? And can you tell us what the atmosphere is like inside that courtroom?
It's been pretty limited for jury selection. Megan has not been at the courthouse because obviously just being a witness in the case, she's not allowed in to see the proceedings until she actually testifies, which is supposed to happen tomorrow. But Tory has been here with a couple of bodyguards. He has a couple of lawyers with him, and there hasn't been too many big security issues. There was, a little dust up where there were some fans out in the hallway trying to take photos of him, and that's against courthouse rules. So some courthouse security dealt with that, but there hasn't been too much of a mob. Everyone is anticipating that's going to change when Megan shows up at the courthouse tomorrow.
Well, this was obviously a very traumatic experience for Megan Thee Stallion. What is Tory Lanez's defense here?
He's saying he is not the one who shot her, and prosecutors did add a 3rd charge last week that indicates jurors are going to be having an option between did he intentionally shoot her or was there an accidental shooting, because the assault charge, obviously the most serious charge, is for intentionally discharging the gun and shooting her in the foot. But they just added a negligent discharge of a gun that, while it's not technically an alternate charge to the assault charge, it is when you just think about the way the jury is going to be considering the case. They're going to have to decide whether there was an intentional shooting or an accidental shooting, and that's what those 2 charges are. It seems unlikely he could get convicted on both. It's got to be one or the other.
There are also reports, Megan, that Kylie Jenner may be called as a defense witness. What can you tell us about that? What are you hearing?
Yes, Tory's lawyer did tell me that Kylie could be a really important witness in the case. He said it's really critical for the defense to establish the truth of what happened at Kylie's house, and because that's where everyone was coming from when Megan exited the car and the shooting happened. And he's saying that what happened what happened with the shooting and in the car is basically an extension of what happened at Kylie's house. So I think whether he's going to be able to call her as a witness is really going to depend on his cross-examination, particularly of Megan, and how much questions and how many issues he's able to raise from that. And then he was pretty point blank with me that he said it depends on how his discussions go with Kylie's lawyers. And he didn't expand too much, but I think it's the issue of, do you want a really combative witness up there who doesn't want to cooperate and isn't going to support your case at all? I think that might be a little bit. There's been no indication one way or the other of how Kylie would testify, but I think that's something that Tory's lawyers is looking at for sure.
Megan, Tory Lanez is a Canadian rapper. Does he face deportation here?
Yes, given the felony, if he's convicted of felonies, there could be a deportation proceeding for sure. So the consequences here are quite high. He's looking at, a 22-year prison sentence and possible deportation. So it's a really serious case for him for sure.
All right. Well, I have one more question for you before we go. What other outcomes can Lanez face if he is convicted?
He could manage to stay out pending appeal. Those motions are granted sometimes. Given it's a violent crime, if he is convicted by a jury, I think that would be a hard motion to convince the judge of. But he's been able to stay out on bail and through home confinement for pretrial services. So he might have some kind of argument there, but I think it would be difficult.
All right, Meghann Cuniff, thank you so much for some great reporting as always. I'm sure we'll hear updates from you as this trial progresses.